Welcome to the New Earth Image Podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan MacCaul. Today I have Jordan Bates with me today, and we're going to drop right into a meditation just to open up field possibilities and come into our hearts. So I invite all listeners to just take a moment to come to the edge of your seats and sit really tall. Just begin to breathe a little slower, a little more deeply. If you like, you can bring some physical sensation to your heart space, remembering that where our attention goes, energy flows. And I invite you to just feel for your heartbeat as you practice some heart breaths together. Aware of your breath, aware of our alignment. Feel your connection with the earth below you, the sky above you. And as you connect with your heart, I invite you to begin to create a regenerative feeling within. A regenerative feeling of appreciation, compassion, love and kindness. Perhaps your favorite place in nature. Just take this moment to really connect with that regenerative feeling within. And when you're ready, I invite you to make a sincere effort to fully embrace this regenerative feeling you've created within. Fully embracing these feelings of gratitude and compassion for self, for others, loving kindness. And by doing so, creating coherence between your heart and your brain, allowing us to playfully engage with our imaginations, with an open heart, an open mind. Opening up the field of possibilities as what is possible in this life. And then join me for 3 unified heart breaths, wherever you are. Exhale completely. Inhaling effortless expansion. Exhaling. Inhaling effortless expansion from the core of your being. Exhaling sound. One more. Inhaling effortless expansion from the core of your being. And hold the breath at the top. Feel for your heartbeat. Exhale, release. And then bring your palms together and just create some heat between them. And let's plane the hands over our face and just give yourself a gentle massage. And maybe bring the hands over the head, massage the scalp. Breathing continuously in through your nose, out through your mouth, cleansing breaths as we release tensions from our heads, our scalps, moving to your neck, to the center of expression. Massaging the upper back. Continue releasing, letting go what's not ours to carry. Energies that aren't serving us. I invite you to sweep your arms 3 times each, just further allowing energy tensions to melt away. Maybe fling the fingers. And then dropping fully into the space as you open your eyes. Jordan, thank you so much for being here, brother. It's such a pleasure. You've been such a big part of my own journey as far as really getting clear as to what I wish to experience, what I wish to create with my own life, and inspiring, empowering so many others to get clear as to what they wish to experience as we move forward with this new earth paradigm. I mean, maybe first actually give you an opportunity to introduce yourself and who you are, and to be able to share your own unique perspective as to what we're moving into. So, saying that, would you like to share?
Hmm. Who I am and what we're moving into. Cool. So thanks for having me, bro. Stoked to be here. Fuck yeah, New Earth Image podcast. Let's do this.
Oh,
Yeah. As Jonathan said, my human name is Jordan Bates, aka JB, and I'm just kind of a playful trickster who likes to do his thing and dance his particular dance on the Earth Rock. And yeah, I like doing that in many fashions, creating different types of art and music and writing and containers and retreats and all that type of good stuff. And it's all really geared in the direction of playfully liberating consciousness and playfully birthing the new earth. So that's kind of my uh, guiding North Star, you could say. And as far as what we're moving into, I think that really depends on who you are, right? Many people are moving in many different directions. Many
yes.
different realities are being created right now. It seems to be a time of great possibility to move in radically different directions. So some people are currently choosing to dream a certain type of dream, and they're exploring a dream that contains a lot of contrast and a lot of catalyst and a lot of apparent limitation. And then there's another kind of tribe, if you want to kind of group things into two macro tribes, even though there's much more going on than that. But you could simplify it and say there's kind of that macro tribe that's focused on dreaming a dream of limitation right now, and then there's another tribe that's focused on dreaming a dream of limitlessness, boundlessness,
Mm,
infinite possibilities. And so I find myself very much focused on this other direction of being and radiating and coming from the energy of infinite possibilities, the energy of limitlessness, the energy of knowing that everything is already here. We already live in the one perfection of absolute reality. Everything is already realized. Heaven is now. And then just from that, realizing there's nothing we actually need to do. So then it's just a question of what do we want to do? What feels epic and joyful and fun and alive? And to me, it just sounds epic to basically channel those heavenly frequencies into earthly creations and see and watch as heavenly frequencies manifest into earthly manifestations of
yeah.
sanctuaries, new earth sanctuaries. That's really what feels super alive, like pyramids and new earth sanctuaries, and joy and
Mm,
fun and play and dance, and all of us just being what we are and doing what we love and having fun. So
beautiful, brother. That's it. So beautiful. So one of the four questions I want listeners to become familiar with, and so they continue to get clear with what they love to do and what they wish to create. I'd love to invite you to answer this. Just what do you love? What do you most love in this life?
mm, I would say I most love life itself. I most love God. I love the all. I love the mystery. So I love being itself. I love every aspect of being. Perhaps the appearance that is most beloved to me at this moment in all of being is the appearance of my infant daughter's face. That appearance of me, which I see as nothing other than my own self being reflected back to me, because I feel we are nothing other than reality itself. That appearance of my newborn daughter's face is her smile is just unbelievably beautiful and heart melting, and yeah, something I truly love.
It's a real paradigm shifter, eh? Having a child. I look forward to
Oh yeah.
this. Probably the most grounding thing we can do on this planet right now, and um, which is like really great, right? I find myself continuously just grounding down in any way I can right now because yeah, there's just so much energy coming down right now. It's all we can do just to stay anchored and really get cleared. Um, what we're and take those line to action. But anyway, beautiful.
Mm. Yeah,
What do
it's
you
a
most?
huge
Yeah,
catalyst. Huge
yeah,
catalyst, bro. Like I think, I had gone through a lot of oscillations in my life of kind of getting really in alignment and then kind of dipping back out of alignment. And it seems like it's the biggest catalyst for shifting into permanent alignment, I would say, because I just realized when she was born, you know, I want to be what I truly am all the time, for her. I want to come from the unconditional love of my soul, of my essence at all times, and radiate that to her and radiate that to myself. So that just very naturally means like doing what feels best for me and everyone around me all the time, just doing what feels good. So now I'm in this big shift the last few months since she was born, of just like
Mm-hmm.
clearing away misalignments, dissolving residual stuff that need to be cleaned up. And the process continues, but yeah, it's just this huge shift that's occurring, and it's really
I've s-
beautiful.
I've seen it, brother. It's been incredibly inspiring, empowering. It really is. The amount of creativity, the amount of it's coming through you right now is it's really quite remarkable. Yeah,
Mm,
it's a and just you just really are creating such a beautiful community, Ouroboros, and all the offerings that are coming through right now. It's really
mm,
amazing and inspiring.
mm.
Cool. So, in saying that, who are you here to serve? Or I know, sorry,
Um,
what? How do you want to serve? How are you serving now, and how do you wish to
mm,
continue to serve? Yeah.
mm, mm. So for
Yeah.
me, the distinction
Mm.
between service and play is really dissolving right now. So
Yes.
I just fundamentally serve by being what I am, by playfully being what I am, playfully radiating my truth. Um, yeah, I used to have resistance to the word service. I felt like, oh, I'm no one's servant, but that's really
Mm-hmm.
dissolved too. And I feel like all reality does actually is serve reality. In the
Mm-hmm.
ultimate view, God, reality does nothing other than serve God. Every
Yes.
single appearance that appears at any time is the exact appearance that we need to serve the next step on our journey. Um, and so, yeah, all any of us is ever doing is serving. Although,
Yeah.
yeah, at the moment, what that looks like for me is, just really like really purifying where I'm coming from day to day, purifying where I'm coming from, noticing when I'm not coming from unconditional love and presence and peace and joy. And then when I see that I'm not coming from that, just holding whatever that aspect is in neutral loving awareness, like say some kind of, you know, fear is coming up, or jealousy or guilt or self-doubt or blame. I don't make it wrong. I just notice it. I just hold it in the light of neutral loving awareness, and that light just harmonizes and transmutes everything into basically alignment with the heavenly frequency, you could say, or with the new earth. So I just bring neutral loving awareness to everything, and then I just see how that highest love that has no opposite, just the light of God, the love of God, how it wants to create and play on a day-to-day basis. And I just allow it to play and create and write and make music and create containers and all this stuff, just in the way that organically flows. I just, like, my prayer lately has been, let thy will be my will, let
Mm.
God's will be my will, because I know
Yes.
that God's will is my true will, because God is our true self. God is what we are. So
True. Yeah, I really feel you beautifully said, brother. I really feel the most spiritual thing that we can do is really just come into harmony with what spirit wants to express through us, right? And I really see you doing that beautifully. And like I said, it's very inspiring, empowering from for me and so many others.
mm.
Cool. So yeah, who are you here to serve? Who are
Who
you
am I
here
here to
to
serve?
inspire and empower really through your playfully, playfully
Mm.
engaging with life? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, I feel all serves all at all times again. So
Mhm.
I'm here to serve everyone, here to serve all beings. Because I feel that that's also all any of us are doing. We are all serving all beings at all times, even if it doesn't appear that way. Um,
Yes.
but yeah, more specifically on a more relative level, it feels very much like my work is really focused right now on calling in the soul family who are all resonating with this new earth frequency, and who are resonating with infinite possibilities, and who are ready to step into their infinite creatorship on that next level. I'm calling in these beings, and I'm focused on training these beings, increasingly focused on getting very excited about training these beings so that they can step into their infinite creatorship and create from infinite possibilities and from love,
Yes.
and really like rapidly call in their highest visions. And then so I'm serving new earth creators, very very focused on that. And then also I would say I'm also just focused on serving whoever comes into my field, whoever appears in my field. And I think, increasingly the vision is to create these new earth sanctuaries. And those are places that I envision, are centers for healing and awakening for whoever is called to
Yes.
those spaces, right? Because there's a lot of people who are deeply yearning to remember now, who are deeply yearning to remember what we are. And so
True.
those are going to be spaces to serve whoever is called to come to those spaces, is what I feel.
I see that as well. It really is. I see it just like little pockets of consciousness all around the world that basically these new earth regenerative conscious communities, right? And as like
Mm,
nodes, and then they're just going to continue to grow until we all merge, right? And these sanctuary, these where people can really come to remember. I mean, really, it's just a matter of remembering more and more who we truly are, right? And
mm,
find those ways to embody that more and more in each moment. And it's first it's like exposing people to these new ways of being that we just haven't been exposed to that. So this
mm,
is really this is part of this what this podcast is as well, right? Just to inspire that, because what there's no reference to where we're heading. It's all new, and we get to co-create together. So
mhm,
um
mhm,
yeah, so beautiful. Can you so let's talk about that. Like like what do you how do you see these regenerative conscious communities, or these nodes, or as you just say, these new earth communities? How do you see these being created? How do you
mm, mm.
together?
Well, first and foremost, what was the last part? How are they created? And
In, how are they created, and how are they like going to be connected? Like
mm,
how do they um
mm,
yeah, how to hmm,
mhm. Yeah, so I would say, first of all, well, two things. One, it's important to realize that there are already like 10 to 20,000 intentional communities on Earth right now, you know, according to this organization that tracks that. And so that's something just to really drop into. And I'm sure not all of those are, completely harmonized with the frequency that we're referring to. They wouldn't be an exact vibrational match for limitlessness and infinite possibilities, but a lot of them are definitely moving in that direction, right? So just realizing that there already is this network of healing centers and sanctuaries that
mm-hmm.
already exists on the planet and is already interconnecting in a substantial way, that this network already exists, it is already there, and you can plug into it, you can tune into it, you can go to ic.org, for example, a
Yes.
database of intentional communities, and find new earth hubs. Or you can, ask on Ouroboros Discord about best new earth hubs, and I can tell you about Kumankaya and Ocean Forest Eco Lodge and, Pachamama and all these different types of places where people can go right now and start living in the new earth frequency. So there's that already existing aspect. And I do, I also see more of these wanting to come into existence, and also like kind of new incarnations of this idea that haven't been seen before, or haven't been seen, I mean, every moment has never been seen before. So I think there's
Yeah.
next layers wanting to come into being. And the way that we bring those into being is actually the more deeply we can drop into the reality that they're already here, actually,
Yes.
that there is no like, in absolute reality, there is no time. Everything is already here. Everything is already realized. So the more deeply that we can already feel and know that our highest vision, our highest imagination, it already exists, it already is on one
Yes.
level, the more we can feel that in our body and just start to resonate with the excitement and the juiciness and the richness of that possibility, and really feel it like, oh my God, wow, this is amazing. This is already here. And I already am the version of me that exists in that reality. Then when
Yes.
you become a vibrational match for that reality has to appear around you. So
Yes.
that's the most direct way.
Absolutely. I'm so happy you brought that up, and the fact that there is already these communities all over the world, and there is actually a directory that is connecting them. Because I continue to counter people. I mean, myself had the dream like creating my own regenerative conscious community, but the reality is that they're already there. Like there's already so many of them. So, and that they're already working in alignment with nature and in harmony with nature, and bringing a lot like permaculture and these new ways of being that are already very much in harmony with Mother Earth. So we don't necessarily have to create them, but we just like to be able to plug into those and just start getting a feel like, you know, what that's like, like that's because it's far removed from most what most people have experienced in this life and living in cities and all the rest of it. So a lot of the communities that you mentioned, that they are, I know they're like, those are like in Costa Rica where I'm at here. um like, but how do you see these like in more like northern climates, or like in around like, yeah, I guess northern climates, when there's obviously there's more dependence on the system, right? Like
Mm,
there's it's they're happening, but um yeah, there's definitely, I see, I've always felt like, they definitely are gonna, the models for this are definitely gonna be more in I guess in the tropics, that because there's that less dependence on the system. There's more closer
mm,
nature, and just more food and resources are more readily available. But that's not to say that they can't be happening, in northern climates and that.
mhm,
I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Yeah.
mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there are communities. There are. I remember I lived on one commune called Boulder Pure outside Montreal, Canada, at
Oh.
one point for a couple months. So there
Mm.
are these projects in the northern areas, and it might take a little more innovation to create them up there, or a little more initial startup capital or something. I don't know, but it's not, but anything you can vision, you can realize, right? So if people have a vision and that they get excited about to create new earth communities in a northern area, then 100% it's possible. And all they have to
Yes.
do is stay with the frequency of that vision and just stay in that and watch it gradually appear. Follow the breadcrumb trail of excitement, keep taking the next aligned action, and watch it appear around them. So yeah, it's entirely possible. For me, I'm feeling a deep call to focus on um, the Azores. For one, I'm heading to the Azores next month with my family. There's been some wild like synchronicities and signals suggesting to me some pretty crazy stuff about the Azores that I think I won't even go fully into here, because it's kind of just feels very like very like sacred and high frequency information. But I feel like the Azores is an incredibly beautiful hub that is just starting to be activated as like a new earth hub. And it's these islands that are right in the middle of the Atlantic. It's been called like the Hawaii of the Atlantic, and it's part of Portugal but has its own sovereign status. And it's
Oh
basically
wow.
just like waterfalls and sprawling cliffs and like
Mm.
gorgeous forests and like amazing hiking. And it's not overpopulated, and it's like relaxed, it's tranquilo. And there's already different new earth people there that we've started to connect with, that are beginning to manifest there. So yeah, we're going there to check it out. We have a deep sense based on resonance and intuition and different signals that is going to be a base for us. And then
Mm.
also we really love Mexico and Costa Rica as well. I feel less I've become less focused on Costa Rica in recent times, although as I
Mm-hmm.
tune into it now, I totally foresee myself spending more time in Costa Rica. Love Costa Rica,
Yeah.
and also Mexico. These places seem to me to have really emerged as like prominent new earth hubs, especially
Yes.
during the last couple years. I think all of Portugal in general too also is a new earth hub. There's a lot of people doing that type of stuff there. But again, you can create this stuff anywhere if it
Truly.
excites you, and if it's your vision. So I just encourage people to go directly toward their highest excitement.
Truly. And I think, and you said it earlier, it's really about finding our tribe, right? Remembering that we're not here to do it alone. And I think that's the first thing is like, is find that tribe, find that inner circle, that those people that you want to create with and co-create with, because it really
Mm-hmm.
does, we're not here to do it alone. And the more we do, find our tribe, the more inspired and empowered we are to take that line of action to either, to create our own communities, or at least come together and continue to evolve what's already out there. Very beautiful, brother. Wow. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about New Earth entrepreneurship. This is something that you said. This is how I've been part of your containers too, and this has actually really inspired me to get online and start working with clients and on one-on-one containers, and then coming into group containers as well. And so grateful for this, because this was allow me to have a bigger impact and reach and more freedom and everything else. Do you see this? Do you see this being the trend? Like basically more. I guess this has been the trend the last few, especially like just getting online more and more. But um, yeah, like with the way the world's going right now, how do you see this continue to evolve
Mm.
with this newer
Yeah, great
entrepreneur?
question. So I would say my latest downloads and my latest feeling is that I wouldn't even uh I am not resonating as much with I like the phrase New Earth Entrepreneurship plenty. I like the phrase a lot. I still have a course by that name and it's really powerful, but I would encourage people, I feel like that's a step on the path. And then I would encourage people to step beyond that into just New Earth creatorship, which I would
Mm,
say really just being a vibrational creator of the new earth goes
yes,
beyond entrepreneurship, because entrepreneurship is still somewhat in a business kind of capitalistic paradigm and framework, whereas creatorship kind of transcends and includes that. Creatorship is like you're just tuning in directly to source, and basically just you're not even thinking so much, you're just listening, you're just downloading like the next steps, the next breadcrumbs. And
truly.
when you're listening from that frequency, you're going to receive some instructions that relate to business and that relate, that relate to navigating the civilization you're in, like
Mhm,
downloads that show you how to create structures so that financial abundance can flow to you, for example.
mhm.
Um, Although financial abundance can also just show up in very miraculous ways without even having structures. So you should also be open to that, because financial, like if you are a vibrational match for it, it will appear, and the finances that are needed to make it a reality will appear. So primarily you want to just stay focused on being a
Yes.
vibrational match for the vision that you're creating. And so yeah, my feeling is hmm, yeah, my feeling is really that I just told a brother the other day to like even just stop thinking in terms of business and marketing, and basically just start dropping into the vibration of the vision of his highest excitement as if it's already realized, and then just download from that place, download the next step. And the next step might involve something to do with business and marketing and creating some kind of structure, but don't approach it at all as if it's that. Approach everything as an art form. If you're
Mhm.
creating a landing page, don't create a landing page, create a work of art. Like every aspect that you're creating, make it a work of art and pour your soul into it. That to me is new earth creatorship, and it's really like going beyond new earth entrepreneurship. And I would say, as far as whether things are moving online or not, all I would say is that the internet is an extremely powerful tool. And again, each one has to download from their space of highest excitement their instructions. Some beings are going to bypass the internet entirely. They won't be using the internet to find their way to the new earth and live there and do their thing there. Other beings are going to download the instructions that the internet is a really valuable tool for them, and that they're meant to create stuff online and find their tribe online and start to build stuff online, and then increasingly watch it melt into the physical and watch these two come together, which has more so
Mhm.
been my path. But I've met other new earth beings who say like, no, I'm not online, I'm not focused on that at all, I'm just putting my energy completely here in this place where I am right now and focusing entirely on that. And um and that's beautiful, and that works too. So it's really just tuning into your own blueprint, downloading your own blueprint and your own breadcrumbs from your frequency of highest excitement and highest vision, from a place of like, it's already always here, it's already realized, I have no need for it to show up in any particular way, I have no expectation for it to show up in any particular way, because heaven is already here. The more you can be in that perfection of now and realize that heaven is already here, that also accelerates everything too, because then you just have no clinging. You're not the more you're in the infinite possibility space and not clinging to any way that it has to show up, that opens up more possibilities for how it can show up then. So um, yeah, that's what I would say. New Earth creatorship is what I would recommend stepping into.
Yeah, I love it. It really just goes back to what I shared as far as like just being in harmony with what spirit wants to express through us, right? And
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, from my own experience, that's really just but getting to know ourselves fully, right? Really to learn how to get out of our own way and dropping all the conditioning and the beliefs and that we were exposed to growing up, right? That is quite a journey. I can speak from my own experience. It's been, it's a lot, right? Because growing up in North America, growing up for myself in a military family, I mean, there was a lot of conditioning and structure and the rest of it. And I was wondering if you'd be willing to share, like, when did you like really start to release and let go of that? When did you start to remember more and more of who you truly are? Can you share a
Mm,
little bit more of that process and how
mm,
that came?
mm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Great question.
Hmm.
So yeah, my process really was catalyzed in a big way about 11 years ago in Earth time. I don't really
I
see
know
it this way anymore.
time is so
Um,
fluid.
and even I don't even see the past as actually being
Hmm.
fixed in any sense. So what I'm about to share is one version of the past that I will conjure up currently to create, but the past is,
It's changing.
you know, the
Changeable.
past can be changed any instant. Any instant we
Hmm.
could generate whatever past we want. But I will generate, the image of the past that's closest to what this Earth organism's memory suggests occurred in
Yes.
its timeline that it remembers. And so yeah, about 11 years ago, magic mushrooms found me in Lincoln, Nebraska, and yeah, I have a really sacred connection with the plants, with the plant intelligences, and cannabis had found me first, and kind of I think done some preparatory work to pave the way from about 12 years ago, and then yeah, magic mushrooms found me and really really showed me that there were so many more possibilities than what my inherited life script suggested,
Mm.
and that just really sparked this journey. Um, it was a journey of exploration in university. It led me to kind of try other psychedelics and read profound authors and start to do some traveling. And that's really where the process began for me of just peeling back the layers, shedding layers, questioning all the things, leaving no stone unturned, really like putting everything in my life under the magnifying glass and really just asking, okay, what is true? Who am I really? What is reality really? What, you know, and just repeatedly asking those questions for years and years. And that led me to leave the country at age 22. I moved to Asia for 16 months. I taught English over there for a year in South Korea. And then I traveled around Asia for several months to about 10 different countries. And that radically expanded my sense of possibility. I definitely much more stepped into, wow, I could turn this whole life into a great adventure. Life can be a great adventure. And so that's when I kind of committed to that and realized my life is going to be a great adventure. There was really no going back after that. And then, yeah, after that, it was really, I had started writing around 2012 on the internet pretty prolifically, just documenting my process of questioning that was going on. And so that ended up kind of being the portal that led me to then quit my last day job back in 2015. I was after Asia, I was in San Francisco. I was a transcriber at an art university for a few months, and it was really easy job, only a few days a week, and my boss wasn't even like watching what I was doing, so it was super easy. But I knew that it wasn't truly aligned. I knew I had to let that go. So yeah, my writing had paved a way for me to and the writing had also been a key part of this process, right? Of dissolving all the conditioning, continually asking what is true, what is real, who am I, writing down the latest revelations, publishing them on the internet, and just basically open sourcing my process.
Mhm.
That writing process was huge and is really similar to this process described by the author Jed McKenna. He describes this process of spiritual autolysis, where you basically light yourself on fire
Mm.
by just writing, endlessly kind of writing and examining what is true, what is real, who am I, just over and over again, and
Yes.
continually dig down into deeper answers. And yeah, that process just led to me blogging on High Existence, then becoming an owner of High Existence, and just making my dream come true to be a digital nomad and just travel the world and work from anywhere. Started creating courses and retreats and doing one-on-one coaching and programs and stuff like that. And also creating art the whole time, creating a lot of music and visual art as well. And yeah, and it all, every aspect of it, you know, it's really, I mean, I feel our the journey actually doesn't ever have a clear beginning, because our actual journey is just the entire journey
Mhm.
of reality itself. But that's a story I can tell about kind of the point it began in this lifetime, um, in apparent memory, at age 19, and that just, yeah, launched me on this whole world travels and psychedelics and reading profound authors and writing, and all that stuff was part of this, you know, peeling back. That I guess then I'll lastly mention eventually led me to ayahuasca and Bufo and the non-dual teachers, which have been probably the most profound period of my life. Like learning directly from ayahuasca and Bufo, and from teachers like Peter Brown and Bentino
Mhm.
Massaro,
Yeah.
and reading the books of Jiro Taylor, or sorry, not Jiro Taylor, learning from Jiro Taylor, reading the books of Adyashanti and Eckhart Tolle, David Hawkins, Byron Katie, Jed McKenna. Um, these are some of the authors that like took the next level, kind of ice pick, and like
Mhm.
broke through some of these last remaining really really deep layers of like beliefs about time and space and body and world, and feeling like this stuff has any kind of objective existence, because my current feeling is that it doesn't actually. I feel like what this
Mhm.
is one consciousness. Basically it's one, and it isn't even consciousness, because we think we know what consciousness is, but we don't. Basically,
Mhm.
what this is one completely unsayable mystery. It's a field of light, a field of radiance. It's intelligent. It's perfect. It's doing its perfect thing in every moment. It's doing exactly what it needs to do. It's making love with itself. It's dancing, and we are that. And that to me is what reality is at this point. That's what all my exploration has currently led to, and who knows where it leads from here, but that's what I can say about how things appear to me right now.
Yeah, no, that's great. Thank you for sharing that. I think it really the key thing is when we start this journey is just choosing to continuously take ourselves out of our comfort zone, right? Where that's like uh, whether that's exploring plant medicines or moving to another country, or it's like taking us away from that place of safety, right? Or that place that we perceive safety, right? We got to be willing to step out of our comfort zone for change and transformation to occur, right? For us to really begin to remember, connect deeply with our true selves. And yeah, that's been a big part of my own journey as well. And this is really what I'm really glad you share that story, because this is really what it means to like to be a new earth co-creator, right? It's just like to dare to dream, to dare to step over our comfort zone and to imagine and create our life. That's you know that our current level of imagination consciousness is really unable to fathom at this point, right? But the only way is to willingly step out of our comfort zone. And yeah, I seen you do that, continuously since I've met you in that, and I'm really and just seeing how that's continued to allow you to expand more and to continue to shed away. Um, it's like the belief systems is all it's all BS, right? I mean, they're necessary for us to have this reality, but it's really just I see as a continued shedding away of old belief system and then upgrading new ones, and that they're less restrictive, less they're more expansive, right? And yeah, it's you've really been a big inspiration for in doing that and all your work in that. Um, so moving forward in terms of like I know you recently I'm actually in container join right now for a solver men's group, and one of the activities that I really appreciated was the 22-year plan, the 22-year, or like where are you in 22 years, right? Just as an opportunity to really zoom out, right? And to open that field of possibilities as to what is possible, right? And I'm curious, where when 22 years from now, how do you see this planet? How do you see the new Earth evolving or like coming to being?
Good question. Yeah, I would say real quick on the last point about beliefs, like
Mm,
transcending the old belief system and
mhm.
receiving a new one. I would say I would recommend eventually trying to go beyond belief altogether. And because I think beliefs are basically just thoughts that we think all the time, that we repeatedly think. And
Yes.
reality cannot be thought is what I've gradually come to discover. So reality cannot be imprisoned or contained within beliefs. Beliefs are conceptual structures that are
Yes.
useful but cannot contain reality. So to
D-
really contact reality, you have to go beyond belief.
yes. Yeah, because they're all beliefs are essentially limiting nature, right? So
Mhm,
it's don't believe anything, have your own experience and
mhm.
be willing to step out your comfort zone in that. Yeah, no, I hear you,
Yeah,
brother.
yeah. And as far as the 22-year vision goes,
Yes.
yeah, I think it's a super useful, super powerful exercise. And as far as where Earth is in 22 years, I
Hmm.
mean, it's again this gets really tricky with respect to time and how time actually works, right? Because I don't I increasingly get the sense that there are actually many different timelines, kind of, in a sense, you could think of each
Hmm.
being as existing in their own timeline, actually. You could
Yes.
think of each being as being the sole inhabitant of their own universe, and all of our different universes are interacting with each other and kind of overlapping. And right now, we're choosing to play this kind of collective creation game where we overlap our realities into this apparent earth realm. And even though we're all living in our own reality, our own timeline, there's this kind of consensus reality that's created by the overlap of our many different timelines and realities. So where Earth will be in 22 years will be different for every single being that is here at that time, because every being is in
Yes.
their own reality. So again, right now there seems to be this, I am noticing this kind of macro level splitting or bifurcation. It almost feels like a splitting of worlds where a large portion of the global population is currently choosing to dream a dream of limitation, a dream of extreme limitation. And it's
Hmm.
completely valid. It took me a long time to get to this point. I had a lot of like anger and resistance come up around this, and there's still a bit left in my system. But I'm reaching a point of actually unconditionally accepting that and realizing that it's completely valid for people to dream that dream, for beings to dream that dream. We're all free to create whatever reality we want to create. And
Yes.
then, as I said, there's that other, macro kind of timeline being birthed where a lot of beings are focused on manifesting from a place of non-limitation, from limitlessness, from infinite possibilities. And it seems like these two macro timelines are almost like getting farther apart. They're like there's almost feels like there's a splitting of worlds, and I start to wonder if this could actually be more than just a metaphor, and whether we may actually be experiencing like a bifurcation of dimensions where some people are being pulled into an actual
Yes.
different dimension of reality, and some are, let's say, choosing to continue dreaming a third dimensional dream, or whatever language you want to put to it. You can't actually describe this stuff in language. This is all, broad
I
strokes, but yeah.
No, I totally hear you on that. It's it's I'm continuously wondering that myself because I see this great division happening where it's like we're going super technocratic, technologies, and then you have like where it's almost like it's complete return to nature, almost like Amish, like completely uh, regenerative, completely separate from the system that has been created, and it's just like, but like I like to believe there is going to be emerging, right? Like, whether we will be utilizing these newer technologies and that as well too, but will be like, that's the interesting thing, right? Like, does it have to almost have that split where it's like literally just complete return to nature, and then there's this other, people that wish to be fully immersed with technology. Are they going to meet in between? I wonder.
I would say I don't see the new Earth timeline as being like Amish and purely return to
Yeah.
nature. I see it as like I see it as more like pyramids and like free energy
Yes.
machines, and like nature intermeld seamlessly with technology in a realm of pure play and infinite possibility that may eventually lead to realms beyond all current conception of humans, where we're actually more like whatever we dream or envision just actually like instantly manifests.
Materialize. Yes.
It's hard. It's, I've had visions of stuff like this being possible, and visions that some of us or all of us are heading in that direction eventually, working with the plants and tapping into these extra dimensional intelligences or transdimensional intelligences that these plants and these entheogens grant us access to. So yeah, that new Earth timeline, to me, it's almost best described as being eventually like, it doesn't have to look anything like what we think of as Earth, or even, I mean, it will initially, it can initially, but then it can just become anything. It's just infinite
Yes.
possibilities, basically. And I don't know if there has to be a merging of these two timelines. It feels like there could be. It depends on what each creator chooses, right? Each creator vibrationally is choosing which timeline to align with. And again, each one is in their own timeline.
Mm-hmm.
So always there's never going to be a complete convergence. We're all always going to be living in the reality of our own creation. And that's a beautiful thing, because your reality is
Yes.
entirely your artwork, and you make it how you want. Whether these macro realities converge is anybody's guess. I mean, the way it looks right now, it doesn't look it doesn't look so good for that in the upcoming times. It's hard to really imagine the kind of more limitation based reality, like wearing itself out or at any time soon. But then at the same time, you may be right, because that dream that is being dreamt, I do think that dream contains a lot of suffering, right? By choosing to dream a dream that involves
Mm-hmm.
a lot of limitation and a lot of apparently kind of locking bodies in place and like forcing bodies to do particular things, that generates a lot of suffering. And it's a powerful pressure cooker to wake people up, actually, for people to begin
Yeah.
to realize, actually, this is not what I want. And that's the powerful thing. As they realize more and more, no, this is not what we want, this is not what we want, then it's like the bowstring, the
Mm-hmm.
supreme archer is like drawing back the bowstring more and more, and there's more and more contraction and suffering as it gets drawn back, and that contraction and suffering builds and builds until the people finally like pop, and their desire reaches like the boiling point, where they're ready to remember what they are and remember that they're actually creating that entire dream. And then the archer releases the bowstring, and then the beings shoot in the direction of remembrance, basically. And
Yes.
then eventually it does all reconverge in remembrance, like in the ultimate scheme of things. I don't know if it reconverges in remembrance for all the different Earth timelines in the next, however long, centuries or millennia. There may be
Yeah.
quite a few different Earth timelines that play out in completely different ways. Although eventually the motion of the Tao is return, and we do all return to our true nature and remember what we are, eventually. Um, so yeah, and again, we always are that anyway. That perfection is what everything is made of, and eventually we all wake up and remember and laugh about the silly dream, and laugh that we
Hmm.
thought we could actually be harmed, because we can't.
Truly.
There is no death,
Truly.
and there is no harm to what we really are, as far as I can see. So yeah.
Yeah. So do you feel it's just a matter of time before we hit critical mass and like the monkey, and all of a sudden everyone just gets a massive shift in consciousness, and all of a sudden we're just like we all just remember that we're all
Hmm.
one, and that
Hmm.
we all come into cooperation, harmony with nature, and then we have our, we truly
Hmm.
build from there. Like,
Hmm.
is that how do you feel about that?
Great question. I think it sounds plausible.
Mhm.
I it sounds like something that will happen in at least some of the timelines, right? But maybe the
Mhm.
different timelines actually have different galactic cycles, and maybe like some of the timelines are at one point in the galactic cycle, and some of the timelines are at another point. So maybe some of us are tuning into the
Mhm.
timeline where we're close to a galactic cycle of ascension, and maybe some are are unconsciously or aligning to the timeline where we're not close to that, and actually they're maybe heading into further like dark period or dark age or whatever. I don't know on that. I don't know the intricate dynamics of how all of that works, so I can't really say.
Yeah. No, it's I guess tough to say like how it's all going to play out, right? And this is in the end, there is no there is like we get to create it. I really that's what I'd say. I think the base thing is just it comes back to each one of us, just getting clear as to what we wish to experience, what we wish to co-create, and remembering our connection with nature first of all, like with our divine mother, right? Remembering everything
Mm,
comes from her, and this is why it's like I feel like maybe it could almost create that divide where it's literally goes from like the cities to the just complete like can it be in harmony with nature and that and um or it literally just gets to the point where just we hit that critical mass and everyone just
mm,
they with those who are choose to be here and fully live it this new paradigm we all just all of a sudden boom then and that's really that was the inspiration with this podcast is really like just get people to start connecting with like to start thinking about like what is they want to create what do they wish to experience and to co-create that image of the new earth and because there is no
mm,
reference there we don't know nobody has a clue what we're heading into right so
mm,
it's just coming back to understand that it's all within it's all an inside job and the more we
mm,
can tune into those frequencies of love and joy and peace and unity the more
mm,
we naturally we are going to co-create this and it's going to be
mm,
beautiful there's no question about that
mm.
um
Yeah, I
yeah
would.
it's
That's what I would say. As far as like what we're heading into, I can just say, spoiler alert, it's all gonna be okay, and it's all gonna be perfect
it's going to be amazing it's going to be better than we ever imagined
because it already is the thing. That's really
yes
like the
it's
most
already
powerful insight is that it already is perfection. This moment is nothing other than reality dancing its perfect dance, and that's always the case.
yes
So, yeah. So it's here. Yeah, welcome, congratulations. This moment is
yeah
it.
that's it
It's heaven. It's heaven is here right now. So,
hmm
um,
Yeah,
in, in yeah.
beautiful, Jordan. Well, thank you. Uh, is there anything else that you'd like to, like an image you wish to instill in the audience's mind, like, like to that will allow them to continue to connect with that, that new earth frequency, like that's something
Mm,
that they can hold and continue to cultivate, create and stretch and strengthen within themselves. Is there an image that you'd like to share with
mm,
that you feel would
mm,
be that would inspire, empower?
mm. Well, above all, I would just encourage people to tune into their own vision of highest excitement and paint or draw their own image, their own sigil based on that, and
Mm,
look at that every day. Like, put that on an altar and look at that every day, or create an entire vision board to show yourself the image of your own highest excitement and what the new earth is to you, because that's above all what I would recommend looking at, because that's what you
yes.
want to align to rather than the vision of what it is for me. But for me, when I tune into it, it's as I've said, it's like it's in nature. It's waterfalls, it's mountains, it's
Hmm.
forests, oceans, it's pyramids,
Pyramids,
it's
yes.
free energy, it's malokas, it's festivals, it's large concerts, it's excitement, it's play, it's dance, it's laughter, it's everyone being what they are.
Authentic connection, authentic expression. It's just
Yeah,
everyone just really
yeah.
show up as themselves and yeah, adding their own unique brushstrokes and textures and colors and sacred geometries. Yeah, I love it, brother. Ah, well,
Beautifully said.
thank you for embarking on this journey with me. It's been a pleasure, and I'm so grateful to begin this podcast. It's the seed's been with me for a while, and it's it could not no longer stay within me. I had to
Mm,
begin, and yeah, I'm really grateful to have you on today, and to allow me to begin this process and to continue to playfully co-create this beautiful image of the new earth and to give others, the collective something that's positive and uplifting to connect to, so they can continue to stretch and strengthen their own imagination muscles and get clear as to what they wish to experience and create with their own life as we all move forward
Mm.
on this epic journey.
Mm.
Yeah.
Gorgeous, brother. Much
Thank you
love.
so
Love you
much.
so much. Thank you.
Love you too, brother. Thank you.